be unto you, family. Peace be unto you. I hope that you're doing well. Let's get it started. We begin in the name of God, the compassionate and the merciful. All praises be unto you, Most High God, the Lord of all creation, the compassionate and the merciful, Master of the day of judgment. It is you who we worship. It is in you that we seek our help and our refuge. Guide us on the straight path, the path of those who thou hast blessed, not those who have incurred your wrath or those who have been led astray. Family, I hope you're doing well. Here we are again, the Ubuntu Fellowship Assembly. So we are starting a new topic today, and that is the 12 universal laws, or the 12 laws of the universe. So I have a book reference for you all. I have a book reference. Here we go. 12 laws of the universe. Let me this up here so you can see it. It's a short read. It's a short read, not very thick at all. You can get through it in about a week, less than that probably. And I really like the author. Now, some of y'all might be, the most obvious question is, what are the 12 universal laws? Where do they come from? So the 12 universal laws, they have been pretty much worded and reworded by different groups of people over time. They even go back as far as ancient Egypt. Even in some Hawaiian cultures, they spoke about different laws in the same language, but didn't always use necessarily the same wording. But the basic premise was the same. The 12 universal laws. Now, last week, I talked about abiding in the kingdom of God, that we have no other choice. We are bound to obey certain laws that the Most High God has put into place. So it's not about religion. It is about understanding what is law. There are certain laws that just must be obeyed. If we do not obey these laws, then we suffer consequences. And we do not live our best life, or we are not achieving our greatest potential. The Most High God has put things into place that if we do not have an awareness of these things, then we operate at a lower level. I believe firmly in my spirit that it is time for us to come into oneness and to unity. And on that note, let's start with the very first law, the law of oneness. The law of oneness. Now, it's the first law, and it is my favorite law. It is on the very principle of oneness that Ubuntu was founded. Ubuntu, as I have said before, means I am because we are. I am because we are. So Ubuntu means that I only exist because the collective exists. I can only achieve my best self by leaning on everyone else. There is no me. There is only we. Okay? So this means that everything in existence depends on each other. All things in existence are connected. This is the very principle of the law of oneness. This law permeates through all existence. So when we say these laws, these things are just in place. We're not discovering them. They were already here. We're coming into the awareness of what already is. Okay? God is. All right? So these things just are. We are one, beloved. We are one. We are one. Regardless of your religion, regardless of your background, regardless of your age, there is no independence without dependence. I can only survive by depending on the collective whole. All right? So all things are connected. The very elements that are in the stars exist in our atoms within our bodies. Everything is connected. And this isn't just on a human level. We depend on the very earth that we stand on to give us life, to keep us warm, to give us cycles so that we can predict what time is. We depend on the weather. We depend on everything that is within our world. All things are connected. We depend on the plants to give us oxygen. We depend on animals. We depend on all of it, the elements of the earth, all of it, the law of divine oneness, that all things are connected, beloved. So when we understand that all things are connected, all things are God. I have said this before and I will keep saying it. You cannot have an omnipresent God. Omnipresent means to be present at all times in everything. God cannot be omnipresent and not be present in all things. That includes me and you. So God is here. There is nowhere where God does not exist. God is everywhere. Here, there, everywhere, the Most High God is there. So we understand that there is a collective whole. The universe is one big thing in different versions. Universe. There's different versions of one big collective thing. And this one big collective thing is God. And we are microorganisms within the universe that are sentient. We have the ability to tell what is right and wrong and have emotions and have interconnections and perceive reality. We are manifestations of the collective whole, of the collective one that exists. Think about the very cells within your body. They have their own genetic code. They have their own way of functioning. They have their own purpose. And they are one piece of a collective body. Think about that in the same context of the universe. We are one. And the reason why there has been so much violence and division is because they have deluded us away from the consciousness of oneness. On oneness, we must stand or we will fall apart. We have been falling apart because we do not respect the law of oneness. Regardless of what you call God, regardless of how you live, regardless of what your political ideals are, you are me and I am you. The second law, the law of vibration. All things move. Energy is neither created nor destroyed. This is supported by science. Okay? All things have an energetic signature. Everything's moving. I know people don't like hearing this term, this talk about vibration and high vibrational activity and low vibrational activity, but it's true. Everything is moving, beloved. Everything, even if something looks like it's still, if you really measure it at its microscopic level, everything is moving. Energy can neither be created nor destroyed. It's eternal. Sounds like God, don't it? Energy has always just been here. And it will never die. It just transmutates. Law number 8. I don't want to get ahead of myself. But it just transmutates. It just changes form. So then this means that, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. I'll address that in Law 8. Vibration. Everything moves. The very definition of energy is something, matter, that moves. Everything that matters moves. So everything is moving, beloved. Your thoughts are energy. It's moving. Okay? This is the reason why thoughts are so powerful. Because they move. They push us into movement. They push us into doing action or the lack thereof. All right? Everything vibrates, beloved. This is a law. The law of attraction. Now, we've heard this one before, right? The law of attraction. This is a very powerful one. Think about it like this. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are. So whatever you are vibrating on will come to you. All right? So if you are constantly comparing yourself to other people, if you are constantly worried about what somebody else is doing and you're operating in jealousy and envy and comparison, then you will never have happiness. So unhappiness attracts itself to you because you only see unhappiness. You don't see what you already have. If you think of things as positive, then positivity comes to you. What you are comes to you. It's not a thing about you wanting something and it comes. What you are, where you are, is what comes to you. As a matter of fact, it's fighting its way to get to you. So if I stay in a state of gratitude, then I will constantly draw a perspective to me that allows me to appreciate what I have. This is the law of attraction. Okay? So let's keep moving because I got a lot of them. The law of correspondence. All right? As above, so below. So within, so without. So what is happening in the stars and in the heavens is happening down here. Okay? Suns. Let's talk about the biggest star in our galaxy, our sun. Did you know that suns eventually lose heat over time? All right? Some of them die. And then they restart back up again. Some suns are supernovas and they explode. Some suns implode and become black holes. The same thing is happening down here. Some things explode. Some things implode. Some things exist and then die and then restart again. Everything is shifting. Everything is moving in the cosmos and it's doing it here. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. So there is a correspondence to everything. So what's happening up there is happening down here. So this Star of David, the triangle pointing up, the triangle pointing down, this is talking about this principle. As above, so below. But it also goes further. So within, so without. So my internal experience is reflected in my external experience. Okay? So the way that I think of my world is perceived in how I see it. My thoughts shape my reality. So as long as you do not do the inner work and heal, you will constantly perceive your world through brokenness. When you get healed, you see your world through a healed state of being. And you attract that to you. As long as you're broken, you attract brokenness to you. You attract broken people to you. You attract broken situations to you. Because that's how you perceive your reality. Through brokenness. This is the reason why, and this is coming up real heavy in our generation. The importance of healing, of doing healing work, of doing the inner work to make sure that I clean up what has happened to me. Because we cannot change the fact that we're going to get hurt in this life, beloved. We are going to get hurt. People are going to mistreat you. There are going to be things that happen that are outside of your control. And you have to learn how to take pain and turn it into healing. All right? The law of action. Action is required in order for you to get what you want. Action is required for results. Faith without works is dead. What does this mean? Whatever I believe in, I must have some action to back it up. Otherwise, what I believe in is dead. It has no power. Actions follow belief. Okay? So I must act on what I believe in. Otherwise, what I believe in is dead. Okay? And you got a whole lot of folk walk around here with dreams that they trying to hold on to, but there's no action to support it. So if I don't have any action to support what I believe, it will eventually die. All things require action in order for you to get results. We're coming up on a new year, beloved. We're coming up on a new year. I want to encourage you to put the law of action into action. Let's keep going. The law of cause and effect. Okay? The law of cause and effect. So, for every action, there is a reaction. For every action, there is a reaction. Some people call this karma. You may be familiar with that. All right? Universal laws, different groups of people have been saying the same thing over time, over ages, without having the ability to communicate to each other. This must be truth. Okay? Different groups of people, different religious practices say the same thing. Sow and reap. It's a similar type of verbiage. Whatever you put out will come back. And you don't get to undo this law just because you don't like what karma brought back to you. You must respect this law. This is the reason why, as I have gotten older, I try my best to be conscious. Because there are times where I don't think that the law of cause and effect is really a law until I do something. And sometimes it'll take weeks, sometimes months for it to come back to me. And then boom, I was like, I'm getting back what I put out. But it also works in the positive. If you give, so one thing that I've been teaching my children in the spirit of Christmas, that it is better to give than to receive. Because if no one gives, no one receives. Action. In order to receive, I must have a posture of giving. Because if I'm always looking to receive, then that distorts my reality. So then I'm only looking to get without giving something in return. Which then leads us to the next law. I miswrote that. It's actually the law of compensation. Which is really an extension of the sixth law. So that means that whatever I put out gets balanced back to me. I get compensated for what I do. So good will come back to those who do good. We stand on this. And sometimes it's hard to stand on it. Because if you're like me, sometimes people use you. They see people with a good heart and you keep giving. And you keep doing right by folk, and you don't feel like right is coming back. Right will find you, beloved. These laws stand firm. Okay? These laws exist. If you do good, good will find you. Sometimes we have to wait on it a little bit. And sometimes waiting on good to come back to us, in our waiting, we get discouraged. But good will find you at the time that it's supposed to find you. Okay? There have been times where I did the right thing even when it wasn't the popular thing. And it took a little while. And then somebody did right by me because it was the right thing to do. And I said, God, there you are. Beloved, we don't control how it comes back. But have confidence that it will return to you. Have confidence in this. We must not lose our hope. Okay? We are people of the Most High God. We do what is right, even when right ain't popular. And we trust that the laws that God has put into place will compensate us for what we have put out. Let's keep going. The law of perpetual transmutation of energy. Energy is neither created nor destroyed. It only transforms. This is the reason why it's important for you to address toxic thoughts. Toxic thoughts are energy. It actually creates an electrical impulse in your brain. Thoughts are energy. Thoughts are energy, beloved. And you don't just get to make a thought disappear without addressing where it came from. And if you have toxic thoughts, they will find a new location. They will find a place to deposit itself and hide itself from you. This is the importance of doing the inner work, finding you a good counselor. Look at the ugly parts of you and deal with it. Because just because you ignore it doesn't mean that it's not there. It has just found a new home. It has found a new residence to take up. It may deposit itself in your blood work. It may deposit itself into stress and inflammation. It may deposit itself in your relationships with people. It's all energy. It's all energy. Energy never dies. It just transforms. It changes form. So let me put this to you. Is there ever a real death? If we know that energy is neither created nor destroyed, that everything vibrates all the time, it has no beginning, no end, that means that it's eternal, right? So when we die, something that is a part of us never quite goes away. It stays and transforms into something else. I'll take it a step further. Talking about the law of vibration, okay? Everything vibrates. Everything moves. Everything is alive in its own way. So I believe, beloved, that the very earth that we stand on is alive. I believe that it's its own organism. I mean, think about it. It breathes. There's an exchange of gases in our atmosphere. There are things that shift within it. It goes to sleep and wakes back up. And then it exchanges our energy. We come from the earth, we return back to the earth, and there's this cycle of transmutation of energy. I was talking with a chaplain at work, and I said, what do you define a soul as? I said, because TV tells us that a soul is just a ghostly figure of our humanoid selves. But what if soul is just a term that we have used to describe the eternal energy that dwells within us, that we exchange into another form once we leave this life? And there's this constant exchange of energy that's constant. It keeps going and going and going. Let's keep it moving. The law of relativity. It's all relative. Perspective is reality. Perception is reality. How I perceive a thing is what's real to me. Glass half empty, glass half full. So I like to use gratitude when I'm talking about this law. Gratitude reminds me of what I have, not what I don't have. And as long as I focus on what I have, I can never really be unhappy. Of course, there are things that I want, but I know that I have what I need. So nobody can take my joy from me because I know what I have. And I thank God for it. And I stand in a posture of thanksgiving for it. Because it's all relative, beloved. As long as you see a thing as negative, it will be negative. Turning lemons into lemonade. Transmutation of energy. So if somebody comes to you with negativity and you choose not to receive it, and you take their energy and you transform it into something positive, you have transmutated their energy into something that is beneficial to you, because you choose to have a relative perspective of things. So the next time somebody snaps at you at work, give them grace. You know what? They got something going on with them that ain't got nothing to do with me. That it has nothing to do with me. I'm going to give them grace. I don't have to receive what you're putting out. I don't have to take on your negativity. I don't have to take on your energy. Because, beloved, everybody's vibrating. And when you go into work, especially Folks are vibrating at levels that you don't even know about. And if you're an empath like me, empaths, my goodness, we have the ability to feel the feelings of other people. Sometimes I ask God, I said, Most High God, what you give me this gift for? Being able to feel what other folks feel. I ain't even asking for their permission. I just feel it. I just can feel what people feel. And it helps us be compassionate. But if we're not careful, we will take on someone else's experience and transmutate their energy into something toxic in us. Now our heart is beating fast because of the energy they put out. Now my sleep is disturbed because I took on somebody else's energy. Remember that all things are relative. My perception of a thing is the reality of a thing. And I can change my perspective at any time. Let's keep going. The law of polarity. For hot, cold, light, dark, yin, yang. For everything, and I wrote this down, everything has an opposite energy on the same continuum. Heat is simply a higher vibration of energy. Cold is simply the absence of heat. It's a lower vibration of energy. Okay? The higher water molecules vibrate, the hotter it is. The slower the vibration of these molecules, they get hardened and come together and get solid. There is an opposite for everything. Now, I want to put it to you like this. One of the things that I have learned is that God is not a being in existence. God is existence itself. God is not a being in existence. God is existence itself. The very nature of all that is the Most High God. Okay? So all that is God. I am that I am. I just am. All that is, I am. Okay? The I am that I am that I am. Okay? All things are God. So when we think about that, the good and the bad, all exists within existence, all exists within the totality of God. I want to read to you a Bible scripture that I came across this week, and I said, God always has a way of leading me to certain things. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 45, verse 7. I form the light. This is God saying this. I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create calamity. This is true. Everything in existence exists between controlled and uncontrolled variables. The things that we can predict and the things that we cannot predict. In mathematics, the unpredictable thing, the thing that we cannot figure out why it's there, it's called an anomaly. That's the mathematical term for it. There are things within existence that we cannot explain. And there are things in existence that we can explain. And it's these two polar opposites that exist. And they must exist. One depends on the other. So God allows evil to exist because God allows choice to exist. Without choice, there is no love. So if love and free will is removed from the equation, then love cannot exist because love must be freely given. It depends on the principle of choice to exist. Love depends on choice. Love depends on free will. So the Most High God has chosen to allow an aspect of existence to be uncontrolled. Controlled and uncontrolled. These polar opposites. Okay? Because in order for us to exist within this existence that we are in, there must be polar opposites. The law of rhythm, the law of cycles. Okay? The law of cycles. Everything is cycling. So this is the reason why I say time is not linear. Time is circular. Everything's repeating. As above, so below. Everything is following a pattern. And there's a rhythm to it. And one thing that I have learned, we are in a rhythm now. Even if we look at our world, people are starting to wake up. This has happened before. There has been evil. There have been corrupt regimes. There have been men drunk on power. And then the people come together and then they wake up and they overthrow evil. How do they do it? They come into oneness. It's like it happens in these patterns. Somebody comes into power and divides the people, conquers the people, then the people wake up and they come back into unity and overthrow it. Because oneness is a love principle. Love is built on the principle of I see myself in you. So I don't get pleasure from hurting you. Because to hurt you is to hurt myself. Okay? So rhythm. Everything is cycling, beloved. Everything is repeating. And I'm of the mentality of this is the reason why I believe that if everything is repeating all around us, everything is in this cycle of creation and destruction and regeneration, then why can't we think that we've been here before? That we've done this before? At one point in time, I was you. And one point in time, you were me. And we've just been cycling. Everything is cycling. Because energy never dies. It just transmutates. So, is it that hard to believe in reincarnation? Is it that hard to believe that we've been here before? When everything we see in existence is repeating, cycling. The last one, the law of gender. Now, gender has very little to do with sex. We're talking about masculine and feminine energy. Okay? Masculine energy is described as it's very logic driven. It's very practical. How can I say it? So masculine energy, it depends on the five senses. So men, by and large, we perceive our world through our senses. If we can't hear it, see it, smell it, touch it, or taste it, we don't believe it's real. Women, on the other hand, are intuitive. They have the ability to see without seeing. They hear without hearing. They know without knowing. And this is the reason why I believe women dominate churches. Because the very principles of faith and mercy and love are abstract concepts that go beyond the five senses. Women are creative, imaginative. They are right brain oriented. Okay? But check this out. The law of gender says that masculine and feminine energy exists within all things, particularly living beings. So did you know that both men and women have testosterone and estrogen? We both have it. Okay? So in order, and this is the second half of the law of gender, in order for creation to happen, we must unite masculine and feminine energy. Now, yes, we can look at this from the biological standpoint, but let's look at it from the thought standpoint. The transmutation of thought into reality, the energy of thoughts into reality, requires me to mix masculine logical energy with creative intuitive energy. And then there is a gestation period. Your thought doesn't immediately become reality. It must go through a process. There's a waiting period. There's a process of maturation and growth. And then it is birthed into existence. We must understand that we are not all one thing, that we are a mixture of these two energies. Okay? The greatest things, the greatest creations that have been created were a mixture. Think about the cell phone. It is a mixture of science and creativity. It's an outlet for us. There are scientific principles that go into the creation of it, but then there is an imaginative part of it. We get to experience music and art and conversation, things that are uncontrolled. See, men balance the equation, women unbalance the equation. And the yin and yang, the light and dark, it is required in order for creation to be created. This is one of the foundational principles of understanding that everything in the existence of God is not good. We must take what is bad and transmutate it into what is good. And this is what is tasked with us with being in the Christ consciousness. The Christ consciousness says that I exist within a three-dimensional realm, that freedom of choice exists and free will exists. I must, in order to have peace, stay in constant alignment with the principle of oneness. The great one is who we are. We are different ones of the great one. And so in understanding this, I bring myself into alignment with the God eternal energy that is already within me. And then by bringing myself into that alignment, nothing can bring down my vibration, because I know how to transmutate energy and keep a relative perspective. Understanding that there is light and dark to all things. Understanding that what I put out will come back to me. Understanding that there is going to be compensation for my good. I do good because it is the right thing to do, and I bow and I submit to the will of God. Even when it don't make sense. Even when it hurts. Because we know that our good will be compensated. I understand that I must take action in order to get results. Regardless of your religious background, beloved, atheists can get peace by just obeying and staying in consciousness of these laws. See, you see how compassionate God is. God don't even require you to call him God. God don't even require you to call him by a specific name. Just obey my laws. Obey my laws and you will get peace. And peace is not something that we can force from the universe. We must submit to the knowledge and the consciousness of what these laws entail. It is the very principle of which I stand on in Islam. Islam means submission. I submit before what is right. I submit before what is true. And in exchange for my submission, God gives us peace. Understand the oneness of all that is. Know that all things vibrate, all things move. Know that you attract what you are. So learn to exist in a different vibration and you will get what you want. For everything, for every internal experience, my internal experience shapes my external perception of this experience. As above, so below, so within, so without. Action is required to get results. There is a cause and effect for everything. For every action, there is a reaction. You will be compensated for what you do. In the right and the wrong. A balanced reaction will come to your action. All energy moves and transmutates. It transforms. It never dies. We never die. We just change locations. Your thoughts, they don't die. You just transform them into something else. The very nature of being healed is that I transformed my brokenness into a positive state of vibration. Your skin, you don't exchange new skin when you cut yourself and you get healed. Certain things within your body respond to you being cut. Platelets respond and they clog up the artery, the opening in your skin. You didn't change skin. The skin that you already had just transmutated. Relative. Everything's relative. Everything comes down to perception and perception. Perspective. Glass half empty or glass half full. The choice is yours. The law of polarity. There's light and dark, good and evil, to everything. And we must accept this and learn how to navigate the space in between. The law of rhythm. Everything cycles. Everything repeats. Everything has a pattern. And in recognizing certain patterns, we can predict how to live our lives and not to get upset when things start getting rough. Because when things get rough for a little bit, just know that good is coming. See, this is the reason why certain Bible scriptures, they encourage us, because weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. That there's an undertone of that trouble doesn't last. That good must come eventually. It won't always be like this because everything is in a cycle. Everything is in a rhythm. So we know so it's truth. These different religions, they're giving us truth. Okay? It's for I consider that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the joy and the glory which shall be revealed. So that I remind myself that even though I'm suffering now, good is coming. Because everything is in a rhythm. Everything is in a cycle. So I might suffer for a little bit, but good is coming. Because I know that I'll be compensated for what I do right. The law of gender, we have masculine and feminine energy inside of all of us. All things have masculine and feminine energy. It has less to do with sex and more to do with the energy that drives the creation of all things. And creation it needs the mixture of the masculine, the calculative, the reason, the logic, and it needs the feminine. It needs the creative. It needs the intuitive. It needs to be uncontrolled and controlled at the same time. Women, they teach us this. They teach us to let our hair down. They teach us to be soft, that we don't have to be hard all the time. Hardness is necessary, but so is softness. And the mixture of the two brings creation into existence. But understand that creation doesn't happen overnight. There's a gestation period to everything that is being created. Beloved, if you're in a season where you're trying to birth something out, be encouraged in your gestational period. Know that you will be compensated and good will return to you. Stay in submission to the law. Remember who you are. Beloved, that's my time. I went a little bit long today, but I have been wanting to do this for a while. But yeah, I'm going to actually upload the notes for this on the Ubuntu Fellowship Facebook page. Lastly, church announcements. We are doing a community outreach event next Sunday at the corner of Hall Street and 30th Street on Richmond South Side. So what we're asking for is, so I'm going going to be making soup. We're going to be doing fruit bowls, anything that y'all can contribute. The major thing is that we're trying to get some toiletry bags together. Those of you who have Sam's Club or anything, hit me up. Saturday, I will be going around and be collecting all the donations. So inbox me and let me know what you can contribute. The main thing is if you can get bars of soap, feminine products, washcloths, socks. These things can be purchased from the Dollar Tree. All right. What else did I say? Oh yes, thank you, honey. Toothbrush, the little, the mini toothpaste packets. We want to create Ziploc bags of toiletries and feed the people as well. If you have unused coats, gently used coats, that is also appreciated. I'm going to have a little rack out there so that we can hang some clothes up. Diapers, that's also appreciated, and wipes. I'll also be making another video probably Wednesday or Thursday reminding the people. So hit me up. I'm excited. You know, one of the things that I want to do, in my heart, is not just about doing Facebook messages. I want us to get into the community and really push the Ubuntu message of oneness and unity. I cannot be at peace if I know that someone else is suffering. Because I am, because we are. Beloved, that's my time. Thank you so much for joining.